All right, welcome in to Vision Pros Live. With Jackson Callum, I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there.
Tell me about yourself. Tell me about, I guess what I missed on the vision. If we later want to produce this as kind of like raw footage and bonus footage, people tend to love that too. So I'm
Yeah,
also good with that. But yeah, tell me about yourself. I don't really have any context, but I like your personality. You're a nice guy. So
thanks.
it's going well so far.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
live in rural Utah, down here, southeast Utah. Been kind of born and raised in this area, and grew up kind of loving the ruralness of Utah. You know, a lot of desert, high desert areas, hiking, biking, just getting out in the outdoors, that kind of thing. Um, and I grew up on a farm in rural Utah as well when I was a young kid. So that kind of taught me hard work and the values that kind of come along with that. And grew up with 8 other brothers and sisters, so big family. Um, Eventually, was really attracted to business entrepreneurship as I was growing up. I started a few little businesses when I was a teenager, and ended up studying business in college up at UVU, which is right next door to BYU, which is where you were at. So maybe we were there about the same time. I don't know,
Yeah.
what years were you there?
2007.
Okay.
Let's see. I started my mission 2007, 2009. So I was at
Okay.
BYU for 2006 for a little bit, and I was there for 2010's winter semester as well. What about you?
Okay. Yeah, I graduated in 2001 from UVU, and I was stuck around there for maybe 4 or 5 more years before we moved down to Southeast Utah. So I was probably in the area around the same time as you were. We had a little condo there in,
Yeah.
in South Provo. So, but yeah, I
Cool.
so graduated from business
I was
and
in the Glen Hood. I was in the Glen Hood, so I was pretty close.
okay, nice, nice. Yeah. Um, yeah, so graduated from business and started in finance. Kind of got my start as a financial planner. Ended up getting into banking and kind of growing my career in banking, where I grew, from a loan officer to a manager to a district manager, and now I'm the CEO of a credit union in Southeast Utah called Desert Rivers Credit Union, and I've been in that role for 14 years. And we've grown that credit union from about just one branch when I took over, and about 12 million dollars in deposits. So we're up about 10 times that. We're about 115, 120 million dollars in deposits now. And we have 4 branches across Southeast Utah, and love to see that going. Along the way, I helped found and start up a business, an IT business, about 5 years ago with a partner of mine, and so we struggled to find like quality enterprise level IT here in rural Utah. So we bought a franchise that provided proper IT and cybersecurity for businesses in this area, and just kind of expanded from there. Used it as a solution for the credit union, and then kept kind of offering it to others that needed it, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger need in our communities as we grow, and there's a bigger need for that. So yeah, so that's I also dabble a little bit in real estate. I'm a partner in a real estate investment firm that is actually focused on the EB-5 program, which helps people who are not residents of the United States to gain their visa status here by investing in real estate projects.
Wow. You make UVU look phenomenal.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it
Way to
was a good
represent.
place. Yeah, I wish we had a football team though.
Man, that's cool. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's the story most of us know Utah for is tremendous hard work, perseverance, and successes like that. At least that's my depiction. Is I felt so inadequate when I went to BYU. I was like, "Whoa, I'm outclassed by everybody at almost
Uh,
everything. This is crazy." So,
yeah, BYU
and
is hard that way. And I
yeah,
also, I mean, a little bit about me and my family. I'm an avid family man. I've got 5 kids. I think I was mentioning before. I have 3 adult children. All 3 of them are at college. I have one in Prague, and one at Stanford, and one at BYU.
wow,
And then I have two young daughters, 7 and 9 years old, that are still in elementary school. Been married to my beautiful wife Chanel for 26 years, and like every day, I think gets better with that marriage. It's amazing how it just progresses into a more fulfilling relationship. And I love seeing my family grow. All 3 of my older kids came back for Thanksgiving, and seeing like what they're doing with their lives and trying to figure out what the next steps are is pretty cool.
hey man, this was like the perfect vision to hear about. So that's just again, congratulations to you. And I just want to soak in it because I'm like, man, this is good stuff. Samuel, what would be I guess I'll ask 2 questions. You can go whichever one you want first. One, um, I already know how much this vision will mean to other visionaries who are building out there, the type of hope that this drives. Um, and so my questions are: one, what do you feel would be most beneficial for other visionaries who are listening in? And what what would be your favorite or best takeaways for being on the podcast?
Well, I love your podcast because I think sometimes visionary people feel a little bit alone. It can feel like a lonely road when you're envisioning some of these big, grandiose ideas. Just because people have different reactions to a visionary person. I've noticed that the more I share my vision, the more diverse the reaction usually is. And it's the whole scale. Like people can be really excited about the vision, and it can get them jazzed about the next steps, or it can also go to the point where people are scared and they're afraid of your vision. And um, so as a visionary person, I've been a visionary person really my whole life. And
Mm.
I'd love to share with people that it's okay to be a little bit alone in your vision, and that there are other people out there like you that are also, holding on to their vision and just stepping forward every day, trying to bring that vision to pass, and to, do the hard things, because it takes a lot of faith to move forward with a big vision, with a big idea. And so that would be the one thing that I'd love your listeners to hear, is that there are others out there like you. We have faith like you, and we're moving forward one step at a time, just like you. And it's okay if you feel lonely. It's okay if you feel discouraged sometimes. Just keep going.
Mm. That's it, man. And I know the internet tried to cut out the wisdom
Okay.
that you just shared, but I was soaking it in. I was like, dang, this is super good and super important. And you never know, right? When the visionary is in that moment of despair, or in that moment of like, I don't know if I can do this. And it's these types of messages that end up being the springboard and the little piece that's like, okay, now I can take one more step forward. And sometimes that's the only step that's now needed. But most of us, we have a lot to build. And you don't build Rome overnight. It's one brick at a time. but it takes some time to pull it off. And so I love seeing what you build on like Facet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do they do all this? So let's go to the second question. What would benefit you the most in this podcast, and what takes you to stages? You've already got, you're the CEO of a credit union that's expanded tremendously. You've got this IT business, you've got the real estate firm, you've got phenomenal marriage, you've got wonderful kids. What are you adding to, or what are you doing? What are you doing wasting your time on my podcast? I'm just kidding. What is this doing for you, Samuel?
Well, I think it's important, to really like share ourselves with others. And I think it has a two-edged sword. I think sharing myself with others helps other people to grow and like be inspired. But it also helps me. Like what I found as I've shared my story is I learn and grow through sharing my story. And I learn and grow through putting myself out there. It was really scary the first few times that I did podcasts, or, I would put social media stuff out there. But what I realized is that it was making me a better person. It would help me with my vision. It would help me with hold myself accountable on things. And so it helps me. And then it does seem to help my businesses as well. As people get exposed to me and they start to learn who the real person is, then, they're more comfortable to approach me when it comes to banking needs or IT needs, cybersecurity needs, those kind of things. And I think that people want to get to know the leadership of the businesses that they put their trust in. And so I think it's super important, especially in today's day, that we as leaders get out there and especially as long form content where you can really get to know people without just canned questions. Like it's just a conversation that we're having, and being able to get to know people that way helps me out too.
Absolutely. I would agree 100% with that. And I just get to learn. It's like free mentorship, to be the podcast host on these. So Samuel, do you have any specific goals of like, are you aiming for a TED Talk? Are you going to create some type of documentary series on Netflix, Tony Robbins style, but one up, or is it just a matter of like more like Alex Hormozi? I don't want to say he doesn't have specific goals, but I love when he talked about launching his podcast. He said he was hiring the guy who was going to help him with his podcast. And he said, look, let go of the metrics. We're going to do this for 10 years. We're going to make it better every day. And in 10 years, we'll see the result. We'll take a look and see if it was worth our time or not. Right. And that's a pretty bold move. It's how I live as well. But what about yourself? Like, do you have specific realities that you're trying to bring to fruition over the next couple of years, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I definitely do. Like, I want to see my businesses grow, and I have specific goals for each of those. And I want to see myself grow. One of the visions that I'm working on right now, it's not in place yet, but I really would like to help other executives to grow in their role and not get burnt out while still maintaining a really good family lifestyle. I see a lot of my friends that they either, burn themselves out by working so hard that they kind of lose what's most important to them, which is a lot of times their family. And, I've been there before where it was kind of that crossroads of like, man, if I don't make a change to my lifestyle, then I'm going to lose everything, including my health. I really got to a point where my health was very poor, and I had huge brain fog, and I had shingles and all these things that were stress induced. And the doctors were like, you got to change your life, And so I've been able to make that journey as well. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that someday I would love to have a group of people that I help mentor and coach a little bit through that. And I love like outdoor retreats. So I could see myself doing like an outdoor retreat with these groups of people just spending time in the outdoors, doing something fun, river raft or going on a jeeping tour or something, just getting out in the mountains and camping or whatever it is. Things like that. I would love to help people who are struggling with that, because it's a lonely road sometimes. I've mentioned that before on Visionaries, but or anybody who's really running a business or that maybe be an executive level. It's sometimes you feel like you're all alone. And so if you had a group of people that you could connect with and grow with, I think it would be pretty awesome.
Huge, man. I'll for sure double down on that. One of my great mentors and friends is Tracy Childs. He's the founder of Wishlist Member. He lives over in Park City, Utah.
Oh, okay.
And we met at Icon years ago. And we saw each other in passing a couple times, probably gave the bro nod. And then, we were at just randomly and throughout, I think we were in Phoenix for the event. And he's like, come over here, he's like, say hi. And just so warm and inviting. And our third gathering at that event, he's the first entrepreneur. I don't know, I was probably 26. But I had heard say, Jackson, entrepreneurship is just lonely. I was like, it's,
Yeah.
I have all my best friends I find at these conferences and at these gatherings, and we need to make this stuff happen more often. And so I'm grateful that, and he was probably in his 30s, 40s. But like he planted that seed in my mind and in my heart, like, oh, this is important. Yeah, this is where we're meant to be. And this is where our friendships are. And so I'll extend a branch to Sue Anderson. Sue's one of our other podcast hosts. She owns Wildwoods Retreat Center in Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
She's also the host of the show Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. And so I'll get you an introduction because I think you'd be a phenomenal guest for her show, Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. I think you guys would get along really well. And in addition to that, do you know Travis Chambers?
I don't, it's not sounding familiar. What's the context?
They're going to be great friends. Travis Chambers was our video producer at Video Power Marketing, outsourced, by the way. He produced the #1 YouTube ad of the decade with Kobe Bryant and Lionel Messi on Turkish Airlines. He's produced tons of the most viral video ads of all time, and works with the Harmon brothers with Daryl Eves, and others. But he sold his company a few years ago, and he launched something called Outpost X. And Outpost X, I highly recommend looking up on YouTube. It is out in the middle of the Utah desert resort, just outside of Zion's National Park. They have Star Wars themes. They have luxury themes.
Yeah.
He's gotten
I've heard
tons
about
of
this.
investors for this. He is all out on that. He's a good friend of Jake Larson, who's the founder of Video Power that I help build out Video Power with. Between all the things that you've done and the direction you're headed, I just wouldn't be surprised to see you guys just blow things up to another level and look at, I'm a big fan of 1 + 1 equals 11. The compound effect. You're a banker. You know what the compound effect is like. People are either 1 - 1 and 0, or they kind of hobble along and try to figure it out. But when you get two great superstars together, I see and you take 3, 1 + 1 + 1 equals 111. Right. You just get great minds to do great things. So thank you for all that you're doing. Seriously, for like bringing visions to life for yourself, being a light on a hilltop for others. It does serve a great purpose. It served me tremendously today. I'd love to produce this as an episode, even though my hair's all nuts. So you cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it. Be great.
Okay. And I'll talk to the team about turning this one into an episode, because you can't reinvent the conversation that we just had in the same way. But what we can do is we can add to it. I'd love to bring you back and dive in deeper to your vision and like hear about what visions you really want to share, and just build on top of this.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to come back. And I love your hair, by the way. I was in a movie, the Book of Mormon videos that were, back in like 2021 or something. And I had to grow my hair out for like a year and a half. So I was all the way down to my back and I had a big old beard. And I actually miss it. So yeah, kudos to you. I wish I could go back once in a while.
That's cool. That's cool. I told my friends, I said, I'm probably going to apply to be an extra or something in The Chosen. I was
You
like, I'll
should.
probably utilize this and make it happen. So
Do
it'd be
it.
fun to try. It would be way outside my comfort zone. But it would be a blast. All right, Sam, last fortune cookie for the world. Well, what do you got for visionaries? What other words of wisdom would you like to share as we wrap up?
Just, like I would say as a visionary, the biggest thing to do is we constantly kind of compare our visions to others. I think that's the biggest downfall is we kind of compare like how ours is going to somebody else's. And I get caught up in it daily. And so if I could offer one nugget to other visionaries, it would be just look back, see how far you've come, and you can recognize your progress line and see that it's moving in a good direction, and just focus on that growth rather than comparison and getting down on yourself for not being where you want to be. So yeah, I'm sure that if I could just see other visionaries, I'd just give them a big hug and tell them, you're doing great. Just keep stepping one foot in front of the other.
Awesome, man. We appreciate it. Vision Pros, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Feel free to reach out to Samuel Crane or myself if you'd like help. Also, again, check out Outpost X. Check out what Video Power is up to. Check out what Sue's up to with Entrepreneurs Gone Wild. None of these are sponsors. They're just people I love, and I love to align with people who are doing amazing things. So I hope to align with you too on the next episode. Come join us and share your vision. We'll see you then.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.